Hi, welcome everyone to another episode of Let's Talk Special Economic Zones. I'm your host, Ainsley Brown, and in today's episode, we're going to discuss using zones as an anti-tariff measure. Very topical issue at this time, given the geopolitical landscape that we're in at the moment. As I usually do with all episodes, I define what a zone is. A zone is a geographic area designated by a government that says this area is special. This area is different, and no matter what you want to call it, special economic zones, industrial park, free trade zone, foreign trade zone, it carries different nomenclature, but it's at the heart and at the core the same thing. This designated area that is slightly different than the rest of the economy. Incentives may apply, or a variety of incentives, and they vary right across the board. Even within the same country, depending on the zone, you may have different types of incentives. But one common incentive, I would say 99% of all zones have this, and I would almost want to say 100, but just for a margin of error, duty-free relief of inputs, whether it be raw materials, building materials, intermediate goods, whatever it is. You bring it into the zone, no duties, no tariffs apply to those goods. So that is why one of the reasons why zones become critical in a strategy to counter tariffs. So if you're exporting, for example, to the United States, it could be a good idea to send it to a foreign trade zone or set up operations in a U.S. foreign trade zone and take it from there. Now, what it does is it's not a complete, that doesn't mean that you send it to the zone and then after it goes into the zone and you send it to another part of the country, you don't pay duties anymore. What happens is the duties or tariffs that would have been imposed on goods coming from your country to the United States, for example, are paused. They're postponed for now, as long as the goods remain inside that foreign trade zone, right? Now, someone might say then that's not really a benefit, but it is, because we're talking about cash flow as an example. So it's delaying that which is about to come. And that can make a world of a difference in a business in terms of cash flow, right? So there's a cash flow benefit there. So it doesn't get rid of the tariffs totally, but there is a cash flow benefit or incentive, so to speak, which can be worth it, right? It all depends on your business, etc. Now, if you want to get rid of the tariffs or the duties that would be applicable, what would be necessary is a certain level of value addition. And value addition can come in the form of assembly, can come in the form of full-blown manufacturing, because you're taking different components, putting them together, packaging, repackaging, repairing, reconfiguration, all different types of things. The whole point is there must be some level of value addition. Now, things can get a little complicated here, depending on the types of trade agreements and which countries the inputs are coming from, and what executive order, I guess these days, is in place, instituting tariffs on particular goods coming from certain countries. But it's not so complicated as to not to be able to figure it out and not to be able to plan and be strategic about it. So just from a basic standpoint, once you figure out how much value needs to be added, which includes buying inputs, say using the example of the US, inputs from the US, whether it be labor, whether it be raw material or both, to combine to now make it a US product, right? So now it's a US product. So if it's a US product, no duty or tariffs can apply to it, right? So you can do that within a foreign trade zone that's based in the US. Now, based on and this is very fluid at this time, because based on the trade agreements, and if they're applied and stuck to as negotiated. You could also use foreign trade zones in a similar way, in the sense that when you in a third country whereby you send in inputs and some certain arrangement, like for example the US may have the Caribbean Basin Initiative, for example, if you use a certain amount of US product in say St. Lucia or Antigua, it counts as coming from St. Lucia and Antigua, right? And it depends on the product and all of that. So it counts as an input coming from, even though it's from the US, and everybody knows that it's from the US. And then it qualifies as a St. Lucian or Antiguan product, and then can enter the US under the Caribbean Basin Initiative, either duty free or at a lower duty. So there's some strategy that's using outsourcing and you can base that within a foreign trade zone within those countries, right? In addition, so the three tactics basically are delaying the duties, the tariffs, doing value addition to transform it into another product, whether by manufacturing, assembly, etc. Or you can do, I guess, basically a nearshoring strategy to a third country, and then do certain levels of value added. In addition to that, using US products as inputs, which count as the third country's inputs. Sounds a bit weird, but that's how you use or leverage rules of origin to gain access to other markets, and so forth. So if you like this episode, please like, share, subscribe. If you want to see me do a particular topic, just leave me a comment down below and I'll get right back to you. Bye for now.